it's paying the babysitter or splitting dinner with your friends, payment apps like Venmo, Zelle, and Cash App are a regular part of our lives these days.
Yeah, many of us have used them, and now one of the country's highest profile prosecutors is sounding the alarm on these services, sending letters warning of a growing number of incidents of fraud and theft, leaving users at risk of losing their hard-earned money. And joining us now is Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Good to see you, and thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Good afternoon.
So how big of a problem is this, and when did you first take notice of it?
So I think you said it in the lead-in. We all have these phones, and we all use these apps, and you gave a couple of examples. And so this is a big part of our life, and we see it in sort of a lot of our enforcement where people are using things, the fraud follows. So we have seen a number of cases where people have lost money, sometimes even threatened.
You called on these apps to make some changes. What are you hoping that they will do?
I'm hoping they will make common sense changes like some of our banks and credit cards have, right? So right now, 2 taps, if someone has your phone, they could have your life savings. We want them to do things like have the default settings be a lower amount of money you can move at one time. We want them to do things like use kind of behavioral algorithms. It's 3 a.m. in France and you've never been in France before. We want them to flag that transaction as suspicious.
Well, in response to those letters that you sent out, a spokesperson for Early Warning Services, LLC, the network operator of Zelle, said, quote, as a result of our continued efforts to build on Zelle's strong foundation of security, less than 0.1% of transactions are reported as fraud or scams, and that percentage keeps getting smaller.
And a Cash App spokesperson says, we work proactively and diligently to safeguard our customers' money and mitigate against the risk of fraud on our platform through a combination of preventative controls.
And according to PayPal, a parent company of Venmo, they are proactively taking action to protect their customers as well as, quote, have several options in place to enable enhanced layers of security and protection directly within our apps. You've requested meetings with these companies. What's the status on that?
We're hoping to sit down and talk about these common sense fixes. And I can tell you what we see in our practice, right? We see people who've gone out to have a good time, maybe turn their phone over to someone to, exchange a phone number or address. 2 taps could be their life savings. We see sometimes people armed pull a gun and ask someone, tell them to let them into an app. So we see this as prevention. We're going to hold people accountable. That's what we do in the District Attorney's Office. We bring these cases, but the best case for us is one that doesn't have to be brought. So we want the companies to sit down with us, put these common sense fixes in place, and let's stop this before it happens.
We have to ask you, your office is preparing for a trial against former President Trump for allegedly falsifying documents to cover up hush money payments. What's the status of that case? What's the timeline there? We'll
be back in court February 15th for a status conference with the judge, and we'll all learn more then about the schedule going forward.
Well, let's talk about this great city that we live in. Of course, there was an increase in crime during the pandemic. What's the status on how crime is trending now?
So in Manhattan, crime is down. Last year, we now have the 2023 data. Crime is down, and really encouraging. We have more work to do, but in the 2 years since I've been in office, shootings are down 38%, homicides are down 24%, and crime is down across the board. So we're going to keep on working. A big piece of it is our enforcement work, but also these prevention efforts, what we're talking about here today. Making it so the crime doesn't happen in the first place is really the goal.
That's a big goal to have. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, thank you very much, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.